Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a transformation for my mom. Here she is. Say hi.
Hi.
So stick around. Okay guys, so now we are going to start with the eyes. I'm going to use the Davis number 3 pencil. And I'm just going to, first of all, I'm just going to brush eyebrows using a spoolie just to give them a nice shape before I can fill them in with the eye pencil. That is a Davis pencil in the shade number 3. Okay, so now I'm just filling the brows in. I'm just going to start with drawing line beneath her brows and above her brows, so that she can just give them a clear defined look, because she has very sparse brows. So this is a very necessary step, but I'm going to use very slight strokes from the pencil so that they can mimic hair-like structures. So I'm going to do the same for the other eye, just line below and above the brows. While doing this, just make sure you follow the exact shape of her brows so that you don't have block-looking brows that don't look very natural. Yeah, so I'm just trying to make them look the same here. Then I'm just going to fill them in with slight strokes from the pencil, short light strokes from the pencil to mimic hair. Just going to do that for both of the eyes and proceed to the next step. Okay, so now we're done filling in the eyebrows. Now we are going to define them with a concealer. I'm using this angled brush to define the brows with some concealer. I'll be using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade 50 to conceal the mistakes we've made and also to define her brows and just to give them a nice shape, because we didn't really do such a good job at that while we were drawing the eyebrows. So I'm just going to use very careful motions and just place the concealer right beneath her brows while shaping it and giving it a nice shape and just blending it out all at the same time. Going to do that for both of her eyes and yeah. So now we're done with the eyebrows. I'm going to start with the eyes now. I'm going to put the same concealer I used before to just create a uniform base for her eyeshadow. So just placing the concealer on top of her lids, her crease, and just blending it out really nicely on both her eyes. After that, I'm just going to, after blending it, I'm going to have to put a powder on top of the concealer, because the concealer happens to be really light, and it moves around and it creases if we don't set it down with a powder. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to use this fluffy brush to place the powder on top of the concealer. I'm going to use very slight motions of the brush. So I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me powder in the shade 350. It is the matte and poreless powder, the shade 350. I'm just going to lightly place it on top of the concealer, so that the concealer doesn't move around or crease while we are placing the eyeshadow on top of it. So make sure you're using slight motions. Don't drag the brush, just tap it lightly all over the concealer just to set it down. For eyeshadow, I'm going to start with the Dar. It's the Huda Stargirl eyeshadow palette. I'm going to use the shade Dar. It's an orange shade for her crease, and it's going to be my transition color. I use this color because it marries well with the rest of the colors that I'm going to use on her eyes. So just slightly tapping it and then blending it around all through her crease and a little bit into her eyelid. So the second color I'm using is from the BH Cosmetics 88 color eyeshadow palette. I'm using those two purple shades as the outer corner of her eye. Just going to tap into the eyeshadow and out onto the outer corner of her eye. I'm going to use light motions and create a V shape while doing that, so that it can shape her eyes and just give her that what do you call it, that cat eye look, because that's what we want at the end. So since the eyeshadow is not as pigmented as I like, I'm just going to use a lot of that color. I'm just going to keep adding more and more until I get the color I want, and that is purple, onto her eyelids, the outer corner of her eyelids. I'm also blending it together with the previous shade, for the orange that we had put in her crease, so that we don't have harsh lines, so that it can just be a smooth transition from the purple to the orange. So next we're going to cut her crease using the same concealer that we had used before. So I'm using the same brush as well. We're just going to place the concealer on top of her lid, where we want to cut the crease from, and then we use the technique that we usually use for hooded eyes to ensure that we cut the whole crease and the color is still visible even if she opens her eyes. So basically you just place the concealer on top of her lids, she rolls her eyes so that it can create the exact shape of the crease that we want, and now you're going to follow that crease, add a little bit more of concealer, blend it a bit with the purple that we had placed before, and just fill in the inner corner of her eye with the concealer, so that we can be able to put the shade on top of the concealer. So basically I'm just blending it a bit with the purple so that you can get a good transition. So for the we use the yellow shade from the Huda palette. It's called Accra. That's how it looks. Then I added some eyeliner to create a winged eye and some lashes. So that's the final look for the eyes. Now we proceed to the face. So I used the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the shade 350 and the Maybelline Super Stay in the shade 64 Chestnut, and the Baby Skin primer for oily skin because she has very oily skin. So after placing the primer on top of her face, I'm going to use a wet beauty blender to put the foundation on top of her face. So I mixed the two foundations and then I just placed it on her face, and I'm now blending it out with the wet beauty blender. A wet beauty blender works much better than a dry one because it helps to absorb the excess and also just buffs the foundation really nicely into the skin. So the foundation is looking a bit orange right now, but after some time it oxidizes and it will just directly match exactly her skin tone. So I think it's the Maybelline Super Stay foundation that oxidizes that way. So yeah, I'm just going to blend it out like it's never gonna happen again. I'm just going to blend, and this is the secret to flawless makeup. Just blending like there's no tomorrow. So after blending it out, don't forget to blend the neck and into her edges as well. So for highlight and contour, I'm going to use the LA Girl Pro Concealers in the shades Fawn and Espresso. So I'm going to place the shade Fawn, the highest places on the highest points of her face. That is her forehead, the center part of her forehead, the bridge of her nose, the highest part of her cheeks and her chin. This is just to sculpt the face and just make it look like it has been literally sculpted by I don't know. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just placing the concealer on her cheeks and just to bring some life back to the face because the foundation made her face look really flat. So now I'm placing the espresso to contour her face, as you can see, and also her neck. I use a wet beauty blender, the same one I used on her foundation, to blend her concealers throughout her face, just to help with the blending. So start first with the inner parts, that is the fawn, and then I blend out the espresso as well into her face. Now when you're blending, make sure you blend the two concealers into each other as well to avoid harsh lines. So I'm going to bake the concealer with some setting powder. I'm using the Ben Nye banana powder. Still won't focus. Yeah, so I'm just going to place it on her cheeks and her forehead and the bridge of her nose just to bake the concealer and to make it last throughout the whole day. So as you guys have noticed, this look, I can do it for, it's a look you can wear it during the day, during the night as well. So it's a very, very, very versatile look. So I'm just placing the setting powder on top of her concealer just to bake it. Baking is recommended if you have oily skin. If you have dry skin, you might not want to bake that much because you'll just have a coffin-like look, if you know what I mean. So now I'm going to set her contour with a dark powder from this contour palette that I have, just slightly tapping it throughout the contour, and now I need to blend out the rest of her face with the powder we used before, that is the Maybelline Fit Me powder in the shade 350. Just going to tap it lightly with a dense brush. Just tap it lightly throughout her face and the places you didn't put any powder. You're also going to use it to brush off the excess setting powder that we had used before. Okay, so now guys, as you can see, the highlighting and contouring has given her a sculpted look on her face, and now we just go to blush. So I'm using the Joanna K Cosmetics eyeshadow palette for blush. I'm using the Aspire shade, that is pink. So I'm just going to place that lightly on her face, tapping it lightly on her cheeks, just to give them some life and to just bring some shape a little bit more. So now I'm going to drown her face in setting spray. My mom isn't a big fan of setting sprays, but we we just need to, yeah. So just before the setting spray dries completely off her face, we are going to put on some highlighter on her face. So I'm using the Huda Beauty highlighter palette. I got this highlighter as a gift from my mom a while back. I'm going to use a brush, a small fluffy brush, to place it on the highest points of her cheekbones, just to bring that glow into the picture. Yes, I love this highlighter because it's really pigmented and it really looks nice on women of color. I just love how smooth it is, how easy it is to apply it, and how versatile it is, so you can really use it in so many different looks. Now I'm just placing it on her nose, on the bridge of her nose, and on her Cupid's bow before we apply the lipstick shade that we want. Okay, so the look is almost coming together, guys. As you can see, she's looking amazing already. So now we go to the lipstick. We're going to do a nude look on her lips, and we're going to line her lips first with the Davis pencil number 3 that we had used before, just to line her lips and create a nice shape. So this is the final look, guys, after putting on the lipstick. I hope you like this look. Please leave your comments down below on what you think about this look. What should I have done differently, or what did you like about this look? And any suggestions that you have on how to apply makeup for hooded eye. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you can be the first when I post. Don't forget to share this with your friends. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video.